name is Janae Annette, and according to the title, or as you can see from the title, I should say, this is my abortion story. Now, I'm not putting this on the internet to get sympathy from anybody or to get hate from anybody. It's just that I want to share my story, and hopefully it could help somebody who is going through this or who has been through this, because I know seeing other people's videos sometimes it does help. It's good to know that other people have been through the same shit that you've been through and you're not alone in these situations. So without further ado, I'm just going to get into it. When I was 21 years old, I had gotten pregnant by the guy that I was seeing at the time, who our relationship is going to be a whole nother story if anybody wants to see that on abuse. But anyways, I was 21 years old. I was in nursing school at the time, full time, and I got pregnant. Now, how I got pregnant, we all know clearly, the birds and the bees, how you get pregnant. But I remember vividly exactly how I got pregnant. So I had been taking birth control on and off since I was 18 years old. And at that time, I was on birth control, but I believe I had ran out at the time. Now, me being stupid and letting him manipulate me, he kind of was like, well, you've been on birth control for so long that, just this one time, if I pull out, nothing's going to happen. Sorry, if anybody in my family ever sees this video, I'm sorry, but I just want to speak my truth. Nobody can hate you for being real. And I'm being real right now. Anyways, so I remember the day vividly. Like, we did what we did, no protection. He did pull out, but keep in mind, I hadn't been on birth control for about a week. I'd had my period, and then I had a week of no birth control, which anyone who knows anything knows that's actually like the most optimum time to get pregnant is right after your period, like that week and a half to 2 weeks, because that's when you're fertile, and then you're going to ovulate, and then clearly if you don't get pregnant, then you're going to have a period 2 weeks later. If you are pregnant, no period. So anyways, we actually did what we did. When I went to the doctor, I found out that was like maybe the day before I ovulated. It was on a fertile week, but I believe I had ovulated like the next day. So I went to the doctor the next day to get my refills of my birth control. And when I had told the nurse my situation, and she was just like, you potentially could be pregnant. She said, I'm going to give you a Plan B pill. Take this right away, right after you leave my office. She said, I'm going to give you your birth control. She said, take that as well. And if when you finish your course, your period's going to be kind of out of whack because you've been off. But when you finish your course of birth control, if you don't get a period, take a pregnancy test. So I took the Plan B literally right when I left the doctor's office. I started my birth control. And the ongoing joke in nursing school was, one of you guys is going to get pregnant. And my friends in school would always look at me like, well, you're going to be the one to get pregnant. Oh, no, fuck that. I'm not getting pregnant. Okay. So I take my month of birth control. And after like 2 days, even though I knew my period was going to be out of whack, after like 2 days, something told me, take a pregnancy test. And I remember it was a Thursday night, and I took a pregnancy test, and I was somewhere in my mind, I was like, man, girl, this is going to be negative. Like, don't even trip off that. So I pissed on the stick, put it on the counter. Instantly, 2 lines. I almost was in denial. Like, majority of me knew that I was pregnant, but a little sliver of me was like, you're not pregnant. So I was like, I'm going to wait a couple days and I'm going to take another one. Waited a couple days, took a Clear Blue, the more expensive one. Instantly pregnant. Shit's getting real. I'm pregnant. So then like 2 days later, I go to the doctor and I was like, I want to take a blood pregnancy test, because a little sliver of me still was like, I'm not pregnant. Majority of me was like, girl, you're pregnant. But a piece of me was still in denial. Like, this couldn't have happened to me. So I go get my blood pregnancy test done, and the results come back. You guessed it, pregnant. Instantly, my doctor was like, Do you know what you want to do? Do you want to carry or do you want to terminate? Without any doubt in my mind at the time, I said terminate. Only because at the time I was living at home with my dad and my stepmom. I was in nursing school. I had no job. My parents were literally supplementing my income for me to go to school. But that was only because I was in school full time. And the time frame to where I would have had the baby wouldn't would have forced me to have to drop out of school a couple months shy of graduating. And so instantly I was like, terminate. The father did not even know I was pregnant. How I told him I was pregnant is because I was pissed off. He just kept talking to me about his baby mama. And at that time, I knew that he still had feelings for his baby mama. He still was caught up on his baby mama. But something in me like wanted to be with this man so bad that I accepted that. I accepted the fact that I would see him texting his baby mama, and the fact that he was always talking about her and telling me all this shit about her. So we're in the car one day and he's telling me something about his baby mama, like how she like randomly just hugged him when he went to pick up his son, and she hugged him all long and tight. Till finally I just got pissed off and I said, I'm having an abortion next week if you want to come. And it took him a second to click in his mind, and he said, wait, you're pregnant? Oh? And then I just cried. And he, oh babe, we're gonna get through this, blah blah blah, like, you know, I appreciate you for telling me and not just doing it. But then 2 days later, you're going to tell me you need to handle that. But then you want to sit up and rub on my belly and be like, you know, our little family, or you're going to bring me the most precious gift knowing that I'm going to have an abortion. So you're like mind fucking me, to be honest. So keep in mind that same day that he told me you need to handle that, he cheated on me with his baby mama. That's another story for another time. So the day comes for me to have my abortion. I go to the doctor by myself because he was like, I have stuff to do. I have class that day. You're taking one class, yet you hang out at your college so that you can pick up on girls. Okay. So he doesn't come with me to my abortion. And I had a medical abortion, you know, where they give you one pill right there in the doctor's office and then a set of pills for the next day, 24 to 48 hours later. He doesn't come. I see him that day and I'm trying to tell him about the doctor's can't talk. I'm trying to talk to him about the doctor's visit and how I saw the baby on the ultrasound, and from what the doctor said, like, my baby was developing healthy. I was almost 2 months pregnant. And I'm like telling him, and he stopped me and was like, I don't want to hear this shit. Okay. So then the next day I'm at school and I take my next set of pills. And I took them towards the end of the day, kind of, because the doctor told me that the baby wasn't going to expel from my body for at least 4 hours. It took about an hour. I went to the bathroom, and when I pulled my pants down, they were covered in blood. And when I looked on my underwear, there was like a little thing, probably about this big, and it was like a creamy white color. And so, I mean, I'm in nursing school. That type of stuff's not gross to me. So I picked it up. When I looked at it, I seen 2 little like black dots, which looking back, that probably was some type of orifice of the baby. And I cried right then and there. I cried so heavy, like that my friend had to tell my teacher what was going on so that I could go home. My friend almost was like willing to leave class to drive me home because I just was so shooken up. Later on that day, I see him, and the first thing he tells me is, you look like shit. Looking back and judging by the type of man that he is, I don't regret my decision because I did what was best for me and my child. But at the same time, I do regret it sometimes. When I'm feeling lonely, I sit up and think like, damn, I really could have had my own seed right here, right now. My own seed, somebody to love me, somebody who was always going to need me. But then at the same time, I was broke at that time. Yeah, I was a full-time student, but I didn't have a job. He, from what I see, like on Facebook and shit, or when people like try to tell me about him, he's depending on his new girlfriend. And so at the end of the day, I'm against it now, to be honest. I would never, ever, 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 ever do it again, but I did what I felt was right at that time. And I do regret it to an extent, but I had to do what I had to do for myself and that baby. I refused to bring a child into this world and have that child watch me struggle to take care of it. Yes, I would have did what I had to do, but that's not fair to that baby to have to watch me struggle to put food on the table for him or her. It's a part of life. I regret it. Sometimes I wish I could take it back, but it happened, and I can't sit up and beat myself up about it. But anyways, that was just a really condensed version of my story, and I hope it helps somebody. Leave me a comment if you'd like. Subscribe if you'd like. I definitely do want to tell more stories, and I hope everyone's having a good day, and you'll hear from me soon. Bye.